he's on beat, but he's off beat, but he's actually in the pocket. And I'm like, yo, what are you rhyming to? And he's like, I'm rhyming to the sticks. You don't hear the sticks under the bass line? And I'm like, I ain't pay attention to that. That's crazy to me.
Wow, that's insane.
This is the skill of it. People don't understand that. I think finesse is a blueprint to a lot of slick talk rap from the 90s up until now.
Yeah. That whole DITC thing is insane to me, man. It's amazing. It's not just because you on. I have never heard a song from you or your crew that I wasn't feeling. Because you could feel that y'all just not in the studio, just, okay, people gonna like this. I feel personally, and you can let me know, that you make music that you would listen to.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what's unique about every individual in digging is except for me and L, and I think A started dabbling in production a little bit himself, but you got the producers who are actually more famous than the MCs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and then, if you think about it, it's a balance. Fat Joe is probably the most successful, popular of the crew, and people hate to hear it, but Big L was going that route too. So I don't know how people would have took him had he been alive. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was going that Jay-Z route. He'd be like, nah, I'm like, yo, he was going that route, man. Like, I'm not saying he would have been Jay-Z to the letter today, but he was going that route of being a successful businessman / label owner, / management. Like, he was going for that. What y'all see Jay doing, that's what he was talking about.
On that, because I'm a Big L fan. I used to love his work, man. I became a big L. I had already heard mixtapes and stuff like that. But when a man said, I'll come to your crib and shoot your granny through the peephole, I fell out, man. I was like, I'm done. Sign me up right now. But talk to me about Big L. Talk to the people about Big L.
The kid was super, super talented, man. Like, his first album was Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous. So if you listen to that album up until few years later before he recorded The Big Picture, it wasn't no big gap. He was a high school kid when he did Lifestyles. So we seen him transition from talking and spitting and barring the way he was on that album to perfecting what he was doing and sounded a lot more mature on Big Picture. And it's like a night and day. If you listen to the album, you'll see what I'm saying, like understand what I'm saying. It was night and day, man. Like, he grew fast. So in a matter of a year and a half, it was just like, wow. And then people think he was so serious because what he talked on his records, but he was actually, a comedian, jokester, clown, get under your skin type of person. The closest thing I could say to that is if you see how Cameron messes with people and get on their nerves if they bother him. They all cut from that cloth. They all from Harlem. So they all remind me sort of each other. So Cam would be the closest thing to what you see of a Big L too, as far as like his personality and his career and very cocky. L was very cocky. He was a humble guy, but when it came to the music, he was super cocky. Nobody can mess with him. That's how he felt.
Yeah, that's dope. I think that's the way you should be. I mean, I am who I am in real life, but when I pick up this mic, it's time to fight.
Exactly.
Is it anybody that you want to do a collab with, like any producers that you would like to, that you haven't, you just haven't got around to yet?
I always talk with well, I don't talk with them. We'll text or we'll send messages sometimes to each other. I'm a Justice League fan, man. Like, I love the Justice League production. I don't know. They just, they incorporate live instruments with sampling, and I think it's 3 of them. One supplies drums, one plays key. It's sort of like the Neptunes, but they're not. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they just got this swing to them, man. I love the Justice League, man. Off top, it would probably be them. If I had a chance to just jump in the studio with, I would jump in the studio with Justice League.
Man, that's an excellent choice because they don't play those. I mean, I definitely wouldn't put them up there with DITC, but if it's the next level, they right there. They are definitely right there.
Yeah.
That crew right there, they don't play no games. What they call themselves, and they partially, might call them the Soul Council or something of that nature.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So that's definitely where it needs to be, man. It's just the situation to whereas it's good music, and that's my goal, to just hear good music at all times, man. And
yeah, that's the bottom line, dude.
Yeah, just good music. I mean, as you stated, we got to get paid so money connects, and I'd rather be broke, but I have a whole lot of respect, and it shows in your music.
Right.
It seems like that's something that's missing as well. Man, don't nobody want to be poor. We know that, but I think
exactly
it's too many projects being rushed today just to put it out there in front of the world. Okay, I got this, and it's just mentoring. It's not there. It's obvious.
Right. Well, somebody told me one day that I don't put out music enough. I'm like, yo, I got 13 albums. That's not including, the DITC stuff. This is my solo stuff. I have 13 albums.
Right. And, and
I'm like, so I ain't putting out enough work. I'm like, yo, I don't have to perform anymore. I mean, I don't have to make music no more.
Right.
I make music because I love it. I love it.
That's crazy. That's bananas. You don't put out enough music. That's crazy but I never understood people that do an album every year anyway, because let that marinate, let that soak in, get it cracking that way.
But I understand that, but that's just not me. So big ups to Griselda and Benny and all of them. Yo, if them dudes put out an album a week, and this is their era. This is how they rock. This is how their bass follows them and keeps in tune with them. But they're gonna have to keep that up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not easy to keep that up. And I don't care if they got 20 or 30 records. Like, at the end of the day, it's like, yo, don't you want to hear something to say, damn, man, I still go back to Rakim albums and catch stuff to this day.
Yes.
That's what I mean. Like, if you pop in Great Adventures of Slick Rick, if you didn't know who that was, you didn't know that album came out in 1988.
Not at all. Not at all.
People don't understand. I'm like, yo, that Rick don't sound like that. That album there don't sound like a 1988 record.
Not at all.
He was ahead of himself. He was 20 years in the future already.
And it's
so, people got to stop making disposable arts.
That's a great way to put it, man. That's a great way to put it. Because it should be.
Yeah.
It should be. But then again, that's why they're not giving you the respect that you deserve in the world to me. Because if everybody got 75 hours in a 20-year period, you can't enjoy times up. You can't enjoy the fact that OC and AG did Oasis, and you can just sit back and say, man, now this is what I'm talking about. Because you trying to find the next hot thing instead of the next dope thing. That's something that bothers me as well.
Well, it honestly, H, don't bother me, because if you're talking about popularity as opposed to underrated, there's two different things. So, I mean, I've been around. I mean, I have, excuse my French, but I have a lot of people who follow us. And I don't think it's 50,000 people. It's more than 100,000. It's more than 500,000. Like, 500,000 people know who we are, either collectively or individually.
Yeah,
you know, and people be like, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. I'm like, yeah, numbers lie sometimes. We in the digital age, so a lot of numbers lie. But I've touched the same stage, festivals, me and my crew, myself, as Ice Cube, as Shaggy, as Prince, as you name them. I was on the bill. So people know who I am around the globe.
That's dope. Do you have a favorite place to perform?
They know. Huh?
Do you have a favorite place to perform?
Nah, not necessarily. I mean, I have. If you're talking about places, a favorite place somewhere where they actually really turned out like we Michael Jackson or something, yeah, I have those places. Like Japan.
Oh wow!
Definitely Europe, Germany, like places like that. Like we've, that's what I said. Numbers do lie sometimes. The numbers don't match that come to see us at festivals, or we can do festivals by ourselves. You understand? Like
right.
It's documented. You could go online and see it, and people don't understand that. And I'm like, well, we've been doing this damn near 30 years.
Yes.
And between all of us, if you add everybody years together, we got more than 500 years of, you know what I mean?
Right.
20 years between me, 20 years between Ness, 20 years between, like, if you add all that up, man, it's a lot of wisdom and understanding there. Like, it's a lot of just talent there. Like, and it's people know. Everybody made their mark individually and then came together. Like, people don't like to talk about him, but I'm like, Fat Joe is probably still one of the most popular artists today.
Yes.
That's DITC though. He made his own way. He did Terror Squad, but where does he come from?
Yeah.
DITC.
Yes.
Diamond D did his first record,
You got a flow?
Yep.
Is that the word? Yeah. That was dope.
Yeah, Flow dope. Joe. Diamond, yeah. That was Diamond.
That's dope. How did that collective come together?
When that collective can come together, everybody lives, everybody's all over the country, man. Like, I'm not in New York. You know what I'm saying? Show is not in New York.
Oh, okay.
He's there for the moment because we got to, the studio's out there.
Okay.
So he has to go back and forth. But, Finesse, up until this pandemic, Finesse was always on the road. you know, but he practically ain't live in New York. He still got a spot out